Hello and welcome back to the On The Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why I do this on a Friday night? Because Friday night is horror night. You can see in the corner, they don't quite look like rats, but this is Three Rats Entertainment. This is Chuck and Karolina Morrongiello. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
Yes.
Yes. These are writers, directors, producers, editors, special effects, musicians, pretty much everything you need in a movie combined into two different people and a cool looking pooch there in the corner. They brought us a movie that was just released early in 2024 here and late in 2023 in the States called The American Ripper, which I had the pleasure of watching recently, and it is phenomenal. So I did what I did, and we reached out, and here we are. How are you, folks?
I'm doing well, Greg. Thank you for having us on your show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks for
you,
taking
Greg.
the time out. Thanks for taking the time out too. Come on. I know it looks like it's bright and all over there in sunny Florida.
Yes, it is.
It's sunny and beautiful. The weather's like, I don't know, 85 degrees. It's beautiful.
I don't know what that is. That's what, 30 degrees
It
or something.
means you can walk around with your shorts.
25 Celsius.
25 Celsius. That's even too hot for me. Fuck that. Um, so, folks, as I says, you've pretty much done everything for the American Ripper bar, be the extras in the movies. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got into making Three Rats Entertainment and making movies.
Carolina?
Oh, okay. In 2000, I think 18 or 17, we were in Long Island, New York. Me and Chuck, we went there to visit his father. We went to the woods over there where he grew up. He grew up in actually Long Island, New York, and he starts filming me. He took his cell phone and he starts filming me in the woods. He said, "Oh, you look pretty good. So let's see, like just walk around here and there, right? And let's see what we can have from this footage." And then we came back to the hotel and we watched it over and said, "Oh, like it's pretty great, It's actually what's the story behind it?
The famous road in Long Island is supposed to be the most haunted road in the world. It's called Mount Misery Road. Mount Misery Road. It's in Long Island. And it was named that from the Indians that sold the land to the settlers. So I took her to this famous road where I grew up. You can actually Google the name Mount Misery Road, Long Island, New York.
I'm literally writing it down here so I can look it up afterwards.
Yeah, Mount Misery. So I grew up about 5 minutes away from the Amityville Horror House.
Oh, nice.
So where the famous murders happened by Sonny DeFeo and killed his family there. So
Ronnie DeFeo, was it?
Yeah, Ronnie DeFeo. Yeah, and so I filmed her in these woods in about 10-degree weather with my cell phone, my Galaxy 7, I think it was
at the time.
We went back to the hotel. Huh?
It was a great phone, that was.
Yeah, it was a great phone. Did great pictures.
Yeah,
great film. So we went back to the hotel and we started looking at the footage and we thought it was cool. And the next day we went back there again and filmed more. And then we started incorporating the story of the hauntings that have happened at Mount Misery Road. There's an asylum there. There's an asylum where Mary lived there and she burned down the asylum and killed all the patients. Mothman has been seen there. They've actually had a creature with red glowing eyes that lives there. He's been seen. There's people go into these trails there. They get lost. They can't get out of these snake tangled roads. So I'm not the only one that knows about it, but 8 million people in New York know about this place. And it's been going on for centuries. So
screenplay.
I wrote the screenplay
about this haunted road, and he filmed me in the woods walking around, and we figure, we have something good here, let's try to make a movie. So and we never actually made any movie before, we never acted before, so we said, okay, we have something good here. We came back to Tampa. I learned editing and I edited that film. That was the first film I edited, right? And we distributed it. And apparently there was a few companies in LA that were very interested in that film. It's kind of like a found footage film, but it's very real. And we got distribution. We got distribution all over USA,
And
Europe,
also Europe and Germany. They were fighting over the film.
Korea and Taiwan and other countries. And we were all over Walmart. We sold out in Walmart with that film. We went viral with that little film that we did on a cell phone. And that's how we created Three Rats Entertainment, a movie company that we progressed from that, that our adventure in Mount Misery Road. We progressed now to the big movie company. So we start making films. We did films. We did The American Ripper, which we filmed ourselves, right?
They tagged on because it was so close to Amityville Horror. They call it Amityville Mount Misery Road. So
I was going to say what's the name of it, because I might have seen it. It's
called Amityville Mount Misery Road.
I haven't
Amityville. Yeah, it was filmed on a cell phone. I filmed the entire movie on a cell phone. And it just blew up. They were literally fighting over it in Los Angeles. Two big distribution companies. They wanted the film, and we thought it was fun to make it.
Right.
We didn't think anything was going to happen with it, and it just went viral. They consider it like a Blair Witch.
That's how some movies get there. You know what I mean? They find cult status, and all of a sudden, then they just explode.
Yeah, I mean, we had death threats from it. People were calling us, trying to find out where we lived, and and just
a lot of people try to copy our idea. And following our Amityville Mount Misery Road, there was another maybe 16, 20 movies done with Amityville title in it.
They ripped us off.
So there was a lot of people who were trying to just copy that movie and sell it on the side, and a lot of different things going on with that film. But we just set up Three Rats Entertainment, which is a film company. We did The American Ripper. The American Ripper is a big success. It's a award-winning film. So we won like 10 awards for that film. So
yeah, we're excited about The American Ripper because it was a stepping stone to the next plateau.
Yeah.
But we did another film that's in post-production, and we have another 2 films in post-production too. So we have 5 films. 2 are out. We have 3 more behind us, and we have another film we're working on here in Florida this summer.
And I mean, I'm sure I will watch them all as soon as they come out. I'm like that though. If someone's taking the time out of their day to come on to the show, as soon as they start releasing stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, The American Ripper was a lot of work, that film. We did it during COVID.
So the American Ripper is obviously why we're here today. Obviously about yourselves as well. Obviously being the only film of the 5 that I've seen. As I says, I watched this. I seen your post on one of the pages on Facebook about it, and then I reached out and we were like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I watched this. I didn't know anything about it bar the couple of pictures you sent me, and you said it was disturbing. Boy, you weren't wrong. So tell us where the idea for this one came from.
This one, that's a good question, Greg. So we like The Shining with Jack Nicholson, and we're a fan of Stanley Kubrick. We're a fan of horror, and I wanted to do something that I asked Karolina to play the part of the Ripper, because England's got Jack the Ripper, so we thought we would do the American Ripper. So she says, "No, you play the part of the American Ripper." So I said, "Okay." So I sat and wrote the screenplay, and I wanted to get in my mind psychologically into a maniac, a psychopath. So I had to figure out how to do that. So I went to study Charles Manson, and I studied Jeffrey Dahmer, and I studied Ted Bundy, on how he was crazy, and how they would do their interviews, and how they would talk about things that really made no sense, and they were sick. So a lot of that came from studying Manson. You know, I don't have to kill anybody. I think it right up here. You know, that's a Manson line. So
he was a strange character in life. That man was.
Yeah, so that's where it came about. That's where the writings came. I was influenced by playing the part of a psychopath. You know, I wanted to do that, and I had fun doing it. I transformed from a trial attorney into this fat piece of shit. You know, this maniac. I gained weight as time goes on.
I will say, I said to you off screen, I likened the downfall to Michael Douglas in Falling Down, like his descent into just pure chaos and madness.
Thank you.
Well, obviously, Michael Douglas's one isn't exactly as horrific as this. Now,
no,
it's horrific in different ways, but this had some awful scenes in it, though. And I don't want to go. No, by awful I mean good, but like horrendously disturbing. I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to give away any spoilers, because obviously it's still a relatively new movie. But the special effects, Carrie, you done for this, where folks only take my word for it, were absolutely top drawer. I was saying to you off screen, obviously some of the cuts and the bruises and stuff that you see were ridiculously good.
Thanks. It actually took us some time to prep everything, and usually we're filming on the weekend, myself and Chuck, and I had to put all the wounds on myself, playing Lola. So as the time goes on in the film, she experienced more violence and more violence. So she gets more wounds. And, it took me around 4 or 5 hours before we even start shooting that day to put them on and make sure that they are looking real. So then I went to the bedroom. I was laying down for 10 hours, tied up, basically with my hands numb, because when you're laying like in this position and you untie yourself, then you don't have any circulation. So it was like kind of I was struggling, but that wasn't the worst. The worst thing about making this film was me being cold the whole time. It was freezing because his air conditioning is blasting like 100%, and I'm in my underwear laying down in the bed, and it was just so cold, and I was just begging for a blanket, in breaks, because I was like, when we were ready to shoot, just take off the blanket. Okay, let's shoot it now. But I was really, when you see me in that film shivering, I was really shivering because I was cold, so it added to the character, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't untie her and then put her back and tie her and put it, which had been too long because I was using these cables from old stereo
cables.
Yeah, they were, and I thought that would be cool. I was thinking about tying her up with piano wire or guitar strings, but
the guitar strings might have worked.
But we thought the old cable stereo system cables look cool.
Oh,
see, I thought that myself. And Joe, when you see these kind of movies where someone gets tied up and all of a sudden the person just happens to have a length of rope, like I don't have rope in my house.
Right.
Like I do have like cables all over the place, like phone cables.
That's where we thought about it. Cables.
I thought it was very clever.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the modern houses, I thought the same way. Like, who keeps any ropes? Like, you don't go to the garage and having ropes. You have to go and buy it. But cables are like available everywhere.
Cables, guitar cables, or these were more of stereo system stuff from the 90s.
They were the old AUX cables, the red, white, and yellow ones.
Yeah, so we kind of used that, and we thought that was cool,
I will say I've got a question, right? So you've already said you're lying on a bed for like 10 hours a day. How many sets of white attire did you lose throughout that movie?
How many?
Well, she had the original. She had to use the original one that looked the same, which a little bit of spattered blood, and then
Yeah.
she had to go to another one that was a prop, and then so it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I was expecting a lot more actually.
no, we were kind of wanted the continuity to be kind of the same. So
We filmed it, like I told you before, we filmed it during it was a 6 month of filming straight in the bedroom, the torture scenes. Um, just the torture scenes. We were filming on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes 3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was, we were thinking, okay, it was a COVID time, so nobody were out there on the streets.
nobody
There
was doing anything.
nothing to do. So we were thinking, okay, what are we gonna do in the weekend? Well, let's make a movie,
We thought we were the only crazy people in Tampa Bay.
doing this.
I mean, she's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and putting all this blood on her, and it's not even Halloween. And
And then you roll out of bed about 10 going, let's go.
well, yeah, I was kind of sleeping a little bit later, and she was ready. And then we would start shooting by around maybe 11:30, 12, and we'd shoot to maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Nice.
We had a lot of fun doing it. So
Now what you should have done is you should have got food delivered and let her open the door looking like that and see what happens.
well, we had to be very careful of that. We had to be very careful not to anybody to see, because we did another film up in the Poconos back in last June, and not being a spoiler, but she was really, really, really disturbed, bloody, and it was a street scene. And when the scene was over, we had the street blocked off so we can film it. And then she was walking back to put her clothes on, and an older woman saw her.
When she was driving by.
When she was driving, she stopped and she goes, "Oh my God!" And she was panicking, thinking that she got into a car accident.
And she almost got a heart attack.
She almost had a heart attack.
So because of the wounds that I was having, but that was a different film.
I told her we're making a film.
Yeah,
I said we're making a movie, and she was like, "Are you sure is she okay?"
Yeah, you can see people, because people can think different things. Yeah.
Funny enough that you mentioned something like that. A former guest, Michael Bailey Smith, was saying when he was making Hills Have Eyes, he was dressed as like Pluto, who was one of the mutants.
Right. It's a good movie too.
That's a great movie. The remake.
Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, I like that film.
But Michael Bailey Smith plays Pluto in it, and he was saying they were filming it in Morocco, and they had to go from one scene to the next, and he was sitting in the car going from one scene to the next, and they get stopped in the middle of this small town, and the lads are crossing with the sheep, and someone looks into the car at him and just legged it, he said.
They made he would freak anybody out.
Yeah. He said your man ran, he's just like, he was gone. But I mean, like, you can't take them prosthetics off to put them back on just to drive to a new scene, like.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, you can do that. But so yes, it was fun making that. We went through a lot of FX makeup, honestly.
I'd say so.
A lot, because there has to be a fresh one put out every time. So we were making this many molds. I have like thousands of them, and we were working.
We were working
make the scenes.
Karolina even we made our own props. So I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, the shotgun shells.
Yeah, we made their own props
from the opening scene.
The box.
So you see that in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, the opening scene. Yeah.
If you can see in the camera, there is 2 dogs there. Do you see them?
I can see one. You got to move it to your left. There you go. Yeah.
There's the other one.
Are they your dogs?
So one of
those are our dogs.
That's the dog.
Nice.
And then this, you've seen this. I'm sure you saw that.
I did see that. I was like, I wonder is that actually a real brand?
Yeah, who is that on the picture? Who is that on the picture?
That's Chuck.
Exactly.
And then you saw the rat poisoning.
Yeah, that one was good. And it says
There's
corrosive
still
on it
some
as well.
poison. Still some poison left.
We actually we liked the movie Don't Breathe.
That's
And we also like what's the Stephen Lang.
Um,
Quiet, not quiet. It was Don't Breathe.
don't breathe.
yeah, Don't
Yeah.
Breathe where he plays the blind man.
When he's with the sperm, and there's a piece of hair in the sperm. I don't know if you remember when he's injecting. He's trying to take the sperm and inject the girl that's hanging in the basement. Did you see that film?
I haven't seen it. No, I just know
All
what
right.
it is.
And
I know.
it was a piece
I
of
know
hair
there's-
in the sperm.
So we
Oh.
thought about like we're gonna mimic that scene, and we want to have a piece of her being on the top of the rat poison when he's taking.
So
the
we put some
poison.
hair in the rat poison. They make it look like rat hair. I
Yeah.
don't know if you. I'm sure you
Right.
saw the hair.
Yeah, you can see. You can kind of see it. I was more focused on the fact that you just had two syringes in a box.
So there is
I-
a lot of, we've been influenced by many other filmmakers to make that
Oh.
film. Just like you said, Misery, with Kathy Bates.
Quentin Tarantino's movie with Once Upon a Hollywood with the dog food.
With the
What a
dog
movie.
cans.
When he had the dog cans.
That scene.
Brad Pitt.
What a movie!
Did you see that?
Oh, it's a great movie. That's a phenomenal
Yeah.
movie.
Great film.
So the cans were, he made those wolf tooth dog food.
Yeah.
So we kind of said, hey, let's make our own peas and carrots. So we made our own peas and carrots.
Do you remember he volleys it off one's face near the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Horrible looking. Oh yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. I don't see why a lot of people hate it. I thought it was phenomenal.
I like Quentin Tarantino. Anything he does, you got to really analyze him, what he's trying to accomplish.
I mean, there's no other director, I don't think, in the world that could pretty much shut down Hollywood Boulevard to film a couple of scenes than Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, he's a great director. Great. Him, Stanley Kubrick, Oliver Stone, Martin Scorsese, all those guys. We love all of them.
Oh, they're just, once you mention directors, they're just names that are just phenomenal. Like there's no other way around it. If you want to be a director, you have to kind of look at how these lads have done it. Same as the likes of Spielberg. No, he's a different class on his own.
Yeah. Schindler's List is a great film. I watched it a bunch of times, many times actually.
I've seen it once.
Yeah. Well, it's a true story, true story. So
it is rough to watch. Now I say that I'll probably never watch it again, but I mean, it's not a movie I'm ever gonna run to put on. That lies with a few films that I have that I'll always go back to. One being Big Trouble in Little China with John Carpenter. Remember the
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like John Carpenter too. I like anything to do with Kurt Russell. His Escape from New York, Escape from L.A. Those two good movies. I don't know if you saw those.
L.A. is awful.
I didn't like L.A., but I like New York though.
Oh, New York was phenomenal.
Yeah,
New York was phenomenal. Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite movie.
And George Romero too, from Night of the Living Dead.
I do like George Romero. Actually, funny enough, I seen that you mentioned Night of the Living Dead. There's a sequel coming out next year for it.
Yeah, there's something about that. Yeah,
got announced today. Seth Rogen and Jordan Peele are writing it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's he passed away, but great director, man.
Oh, phenomenal! But did you know he was supposed to direct, the 1990 It?
It?
Yeah, the clown, Pennywise the clown.
I think I heard it. I think we watched that film. It.
We watched it.
I think we watched it.
Tim Curry plays It.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a 1990 version of it, but George A. Romero was originally slated to direct it and dropped out, which left Tommy Lee Wallace come in.
Wow. I think
Yeah.
you probably like The Thing by Kurt Russell, right? The Thing.
Oh, the thing is the greatest remake in any film history.
Cool.
Yeah, we kind of. I don't want to tell you about our new film, but we had a lot of fun making this last film and the one before it. That
We are
you-
right now in a post-production of the the Creature Rabbit. It's going to be released probably either in the end of this year or next year.
it's going to be.
It's a Creature Rabbit. As you can see, it's
Look at that. That
gonna.
looks awesome. That's like
Yeah,
Donnie Darko on steroids.
there you go.
Yeah, this one's
steroids.
this one's he's a sicko. He's a sick pup. And he terrorizes the community. So we're
Nice.
Karolina's editing this one right now.
I am right now in works. I'm editing that film, and it's about a creature rabbit, bunny that terrorizes the community. But we cannot say too much about it because we haven't even finished the post-production on it yet. And there was another film we actually just wrapped.
This is the one you saw on Facebook, the Snarly Owl.
I do like an old werewolf movie now.
This one's the dog, though. He's
So
the
that's like
famous.
a mix of the
He's the
wolf and the
famous
dog.
dog.
The Dog Man.
Yeah.
that's a
So
dog.
he's the Snarly Owl. He's considered second to Mothman. He has big red glowing eyes, a big snout, big large tail, and he walks on his hind legs. And he
Nice.
is a mean son of a bitch. And he doesn't like people. He don't
You know
like
what?
people at all.
I'm gonna
So-
watch the two of them.
Yeah, so this one is completed. This one is wrapped. We just finished the production on it. We came back from West Virginia. We filmed it in West Virginia in March. And
It was a big production. We had
very big production.
20 people in the film crew, and it was a big deal. So
We had like hundreds of people. So
well, with the actors and everybody, they
it
were
was
all,
hundreds of people involved and in the whole town, and it was really amazing. So now we're just waiting also for post-production to be finished and released.
remember the American Ripper was the COVID kind of time, and it
Couple
took
of
us 2 years to put it out, and then it came out in 2023 and over in your area 2024. But we had a blast making that film, you know.
I mean, making American Ripper. I said to you earlier on in the day, I says, I don't know how you had fun making that because it looks awful. it looks like, by that I mean it looks like horrendously torturous to make, if you know what I mean. No pun intended in that.
Yeah, I mean, I had to separate my mind from this psychopath that was living with my real life, you know.
You know what?
And-
As we were talking there, I put it as well. I said Michael Douglas fall down. Maybe Michael Rooker in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer too.
yes, actually, I mentioned
Nicholson.
and Jack Nicholson.
Shiny.
Jack Nicholson was a
Jack,
little bit more. Yeah, I love Jack in The Shining was great. But we had a fun time, and I literally had to immerse myself into the character. I did in the beginning. I'm a little bit slowly, but as time goes on, I'm more into it, and I'm getting more and more crazy and sweaty. You know, I'm trying to.
Just like falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that, as I said, the descent into madness, really, you can see it every time you're on screen, sort of every periodic of say 5-10 minutes. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. The hair's sticking up. It's like you've been electrocuted.
Yes, that was a part of the makeup and hair. Yeah, to make sure that his transition is really significant, that you can see his transition. Yeah.
The laugh, the neck cracking of your neck. Now I don't know whether that's real or that's sounded in.
I mean, both, yeah, sounded in.
But
We
it
do
was-
like what's his name that played the Chancellor of England. What's his name? That played the actor
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. So I do like him. He's another great actor.
Gary
One of
Oldman
my
is
favorites.
Gary Oldman is probably one of the best actors ever.
I love Gary.
Yeah.
We we were influenced by The Professional, that movie when he cracks his neck, kind of when he looks up in the air
Yeah.
and he's taking that medicine and
Drug.
he just takes that drug in The Professional.
Gary Oldman might actually be the best character actor ever.
Yeah, I love Gary Oldman. I mean, he was one of my favorites. We didn't even know he played Eisenhower in that movie, Oppenheimer. Actually plays Truman. Truman. Didn't even know it was him. I was like, that's Gary Oldman, you know?
They made him up.
It's mad. It is like that. That's a phenomenal movie as well, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, we liked that film. We liked, a lot of stuff has been coming out. We even liked Leonardo in his last film here with Martin Scorsese with the muck on his teeth.
I
He's
didn't
playing
watch
a
it
redneck.
Killer Flowers of the Moon and Killer Flowers or something.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You should see it.
I can't bring myself to sit down and watch another 3-hour long movie at this stage.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie. It's a long movie, but it was actually good.
It was good. Mm-hmm.
We got ideas from him.
I've watched one probably 2.5 hour long movie this year, and that was Iron Claw.
Iron Claw. I don't know if I saw that.
That's Zac Efron's one about the Von Erich wrestling family.
No, I didn't see that one.
It's
didn't see
phenomenal.
That one. Really?
Put that. Like, he's that good. He might get an Oscar nomination for it.
Really?
Oh wow!
Excellent. Yeah. We like actors. That's kind of what we do. We like to direct, so we like to do it all.
Well, I'd say get a hold of that and watch it. It was made by A24 as well, so it's going to be good.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's going to be
A24 are hitting on everything at the minute. So
yeah.
Right before we finish up, then obviously we've touched on the Ripper. I don't want to give anything away about it because, as I said, it's still relatively new. You've 3 new movies that are due out in the next little while, 2 that are in post production. Sorry, excuse me. We know, well, you're going to get at least one view from Europe because I will watch them.
Tell your friends all about us.
Absolutely. I mean, like I'll certainly share it out on the show's page as well.
Give us a nice, good review there too.
On IMDb.
No, send the old brown envelopes over, and I will. Now, I said to you off screen, I have another podcast that some of the fans might know. It's called Retrotainment Recast. Sorry, I just opened up Letterboxd and Spike from Gremlins just popped up on my screen and popped off it. That was weird. So with that show, we do a yearly review of all the new movies that we watch. So 2024 movies. And so far this year, I've seen 22 movies that have been released since January 1st.
Wow.
Right? So they range. They're not all horror movies. They range from, say, the Iron Claw to Ghostbusters to yourselves. You were mentioning that a lot of films had done the Amityville stuff. So my old friend and former guest Bobby Knipe made a movie called The Amityville Ripper.
No, right.
No way.
Where they bring back Jack the Ripper into the Amityville house or from the Amityville house. Yeah, I was going to say it earlier, but we got sidetracked. So as I says, I've seen 22. Out of that 22, where do you reckon the American Ripper lies?
Where do we lie? Where do we lie?
Where would you think you lie?
Oh, you mean as far as likable, as far as how you liked it?
Out of 22, where would you say I have it rated?
I don't know. Number 1.
It's going to be very tough to beat number 1. The Iron Claw is number 1 at the minute. I think it's going to be very hard to beat that. That's how good it was.
We don't know. It's let people judge. People let people watch it and judge it. We always like just any comments. We like to hear the feedback. We like to hear what people think. So we appreciate anybody, either putting a review or a star on IMDb. Also, follow us on Facebook, Three Rats Entertainment. We just like to engage with people in communities.
We like to do entertainment. We're entertainers.
Let people
That's kind of what
figure
we
it
are.
out. I don't know.
What do you feel?
So, remember we were talking about Roadhouse?
Yeah.
I have you above Roadhouse. I have you at 10th out of 22.
Nice.
Number 10?
Cool, number 10.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
10 out of 22, which is
That's good.
pretty solid
So
going. Yeah,
that's great, man.
Thank
so
you.
my one has 1, 2, 3. There's only 4 horrors in my top 10 so far this year.
10.
Nice.
So we're one of the 4.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's great. So he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did. Well, I did and I didn't in terms of in a good way, because obviously it's that type of movie. So on this show, when we have a movie and we have guests on about the movie, we'll give it a rating out of 5 slabs of me. So I always ask the question, just to make it a little bit harder on you: if you were to rate this movie, not being biased because you made it, what would you rate it out of 5?
You can answer that. If we were to rank it, if we didn't make the movie.
And
If the
somebody
movie was
else
made
made
the
it?
exact
Uh-huh.
same, but not made by you, what would you rate it if you watched it on the telly?
Well, it depends who is the main actor and actress, if they're likable and if they are, convincing, I would rate it pretty high. I like the plot. Honestly, what I liked about this movie is a plot the most. It's a twist in the end. There is a good plot. The scenes flow pretty quick. I like the music. I made it myself, so I was sitting in the headphones for 6 months and trying to make sure that music tracks are great and the sound is just perfect. So I like the music. For music score alone, I would give it 1. So
I mean, you would give it a 5 being the best.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 being the best. Yeah, whatever. Like I do like the plot. I do like the music.
But if you didn't write the film and you
That was
saw the film,
exactly the same music, I would love the music. If it's exactly the same plot, I would love the plot. As far as an actor and actress, they would have to be very convincing and very
likable.
Yeah.
It's a tough question when you get asked it, because you're like, well, how do I take myself out of not?
If we were to do it differently, there would be some things that we do differently.
If Emily Blunt played my role, let's say I like Emily Blunt. She was playing the main part, and
She would have to be really into that part.
Let's say Jack Nicholson is playing psychopath. Yeah, I would definitely give it a 5.
Emily Blunt doesn't need to be involved into anything. She could play a lamppost and be unreal. That's how
Karolina actually put her heart and soul into it. She really
Yeah.
did. I mean, she not just because we are the producers and directors of it, but even other people here in Florida realized that, and they gave her Best Actress award on that film amongst 1,000 other films. So she took first place.
It was phenomenal performance. Like, you obviously, the 2 years are the main 2 in it, but no offense to you, Chuck, but she steals the show in it.
Of course she does. She's the blonde. She's the beautiful Polish blonde.
Yeah,
That's why I
not
put
even
her in,
that.
That's correct. That's why I put her in that scene.
Well, I'm trying to be convincing in my part. They're like, you have to imagine you're actually going through that. Like it's
Like, you can legitimately see the scared look on her face, which always some people in certain scenes, they're like, oh, okay, not quite. But you believed everything she was going through.
I believe in myself. It's funny because I edited that film, so I had to feel it too, watching her, which is me. And I didn't think about myself, that's me on the screen. I felt like it's somebody else, and I'm editing that film, trying to make a feel out of it. So it was kind of interesting, like I'm watching this film, don't even think it's me. it's like somebody else playing, so.
She got a good makeover with her nails so that she felt good about it all.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
I don't even want to talk about that. That is horrendous, that scene.
But let's mention that one. I'm curious
not.
about what you thought about that.
I can't stand it when I see it in any film. Anything. Like even in like one of my favorite films is The Wind That Shakes the Barley. And they have it in that when they're torturing the Irish soldiers. It's just there's something about your nails coming off. Like I'm one of these people where I can watch a horror film and you can get your head cut off with a machete, and I'm like, okay. But like X last or 2 years ago when I watched it, where you see someone standing on a nail or you see the door getting hand slammed in the door, I'm like, no. Anything that can actually happen to you, legitimately normal people, I'm just like, oh, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
We wanted to make that scene disturbing. And pulling somebody's nails off could be very painful.
Do you know what would have made it even more disturbing? If you started chewing on it.
Well, I said I'll be right back. I brought her the poison back. The rat poison.
I think that's how the only way it would have made it more disturbing.
She wanted like it was some gum.
Yeah. So as I says, it's hard for you to do it, but my rating out of 5 slabs of meat, I give you a 4.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
It was very enjoyable movie. Well, again, I go back to it. It's not an enjoyable movie, but it's a very, very good movie to watch. It's not an easy watch, but it's a great watch. And in terms of indie filmmakers, it's right up there as one of the best I've seen in the last few years.
Thank you. That's a compliment. Thank Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just keep your doors locked.
Well, the doors being locked ain't gonna make much of a difference. Just don't
keep your windows closed.
Yeah.
Don't have that friend over to bore you to death.
But yeah, it took us like maybe 2.5 years to make that film. That wasn't a movie that was made in fast.
It wasn't made fast.
That was a slow cooking film. So we had to make sure that all details are perfect in sound and music and everything. So,
but that's
there may be a sequel.
Filmmaker.
There may be a sequel.
I picked that up. Well, I was going to say it off screen, but I kind of had an idea. I'll talk to you off screen and I'll say it to you.
So, okay.
It won't be me.
Well, it might be.
Could be.
Could be.
But I know you've touched on the 2 new movies that you have upcoming. We've seen some first option artwork. But we'll certainly share that out when it comes out, and hopefully we'll be in contact when they come out, and we'll have you back on. And if you need a review done, you know where we are.
I'll call you, brother.
Yep.
Absolutely. Just don't call me early in the morning.
It's like at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock his time right now.
Yeah.
Sure, look, these things happen. But what we'll do is, folks, Chuck, Karolina, again, thanks very much for taking the time out of your day to come on. Where's the pooch gone?
She's sitting waiting to go out.
Yeah.
The pooch can say goodbye too.
Come here, pooch. Come here.
No,
that's Athena.
Say goodbye.
Yeah, bye, pooch. Good pooch. That's a good pooch. Tombstone Ted, one of our co-hosts, will love that. He's a big dog guy.
Cool.
But what we'll do, folks, is we'll leave it here I'll close it out the way I close it out every single Friday night. In the words of the great George A. Romero, ladies and gentlemen, stay scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.